number 20, Ken Redfield. For UC Santa Barbara at center, a 6'7" senior from South Pasadena, California, number 55, Eric MacArthur. For Michigan State at center, a 6'10" freshman from Detroit, Michigan, number 54, Mike Peplowski. For UC Santa Barbara at guard, a 6'7" sophomore from San Jose, California, number 34, Lucius Davis. For Michigan State at guard, a 6'2" sophomore from Inkster, Michigan, number 11, Mark Montgomery. For UC Santa Barbara at guard, a 6'4" senior from Los Angeles, California, number 15, Herrick DeHart. For Michigan State at guard, a 6'6" junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 21, Steve Smith. And introducing the head coaches. For UC Santa Barbara, in his 7th season, Jerry Pym. For Michigan State, in his 14th season, Judd Heathcote.
Judd Heathcote and his Big Ten champion Spartans, UC Santa Barbara from the
What line of work in?
Water resource management.
You like irrigation?
You could say that, yes.
Hasn't rained here in 18 months.
We shall see.
You've been coming down in buckets all night long.
Yes, indeed. That's good.
In today's high-tech business world,
Nice morning, huh?
those with the most mobility find success rains down upon them.
How's he gonna make the rain, Mom?
Come fly the friendly sky.
We're going to climb a little higher, folks. See if we can get above these rain clouds.
Life's full of simple pleasures, like the comfort of Levi's jeans, or had you forgotten?
Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee, round 2 of the Southeast Regional. Our officials today, Larry Lembo from Farmingdale, New York, from Cypress, California, Jim Stupin, and John Corio from Lynbrook, New York. And we're set to go. The Spartans and the Gauchos, Big West against Big Ten. And here we go. And Michigan State will control attack.
Well, what I think UC Santa Barbara has to do is really get back fast on defense against this Michigan State fast break opportunity team. And I think the other key for Michigan State is to go out and control their defensive board to take MacArthur out of it.
Paul Johnson's going to be on Steve Smith for the majority of the day, Tom, and he already picks up his first personal.
UC Santa Barbara, an excellent man-to-man defensive team, particularly on the perimeter.
Smith to Poplowski, and they move it back on top to Mark Montgomery, their point guard. Redfield works on MacArthur. And over the back, Segenga came flying in and was all over Paul Johnson.
One of those power forwards from the Big Ten with a leap in his legs.
So the Gauchos with their first opportunity, and the man that'll bring it up, their point guard, Kerry DeHart. He's a good one, a 4-year starter.
Excellent outside shooter, too. As is this man, Johnson.
The Gauchos got here by beating Houston 70-66. Michigan State had to go to overtime to beat Murray State. They want to get it to MacArthur in low and do. And he's going to be called with the offensive foul. So Eric MacArthur immediately picks up his first foul. MacArthur, who had 20 points, 11 rebounds, 5 blocks, and 4 steals the other night, but the first time he's in the book today is a personal foul. No score. We played a minute in Knoxville. Smith cut off by Johnson, leaves it for Stiganga, and now outside Montgomery. Can't get the three.
Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara will run on good opportunities, and they'll take threes. But they run this set offense beautifully.
Lucius Davis got up in the air, somehow got it to MacArthur. He can't connect, and Gray misses the tip. Back come the Spartans. And Redfield walked with it. First turnover against Michigan State. Other games around the country today. UNLV are running Rebels over Ohio State. UConn big on the California Bears, spoiling their return to the NCAA. And Lionel Simmons in LaSalle over Clemson. Here we have no score. Almost 2 minutes into the action. Carrick to Hart, open for the jumper.
Here's what Jed Heathcote loves for this team to do. Get it up the court quickly.
Nice transition defense over by the Gauchos.
They did not really run against Murray State. It looked like they're a little overconfident in that one and didn't have to produce 100%.
Steve Smith, Mr. Versatility for the Spartans. Got double teamed, got open long enough to take the long jumper. And Popolowski used the elbow. So we've had more fouls than points, that's for sure. No score, 17:37 to go first half.
Well, it looks like UC Santa Barbara probably has got a little soap in their eyes right now. And not able to sight the hoop, but they have an excellent weak side offense where a lot of action happens off picks. And get it inside like this to MacArthur, and very quick down there.
So MacArthur's got our first basket of the ball game. Montgomery on top to Hart, trying to stay with him. Smith trying to feed it down low. Good defense by Johnson again. Smith wanted to shoot, couldn't find the opening, and threw it away.
Well, if you're going to defend Steve Smith, you've got to fight through at least 2 picks most of the time in order to even bother him. And Johnson's going to have a tough job all day afternoon long.
And those two are bumping down low right now as Johnson's going to post up down low, try to work around a pick, and there he is. Lucius Davis to the baseline. 4-0. Gaucho.
5-man motion offense really does not allow you to double.
Stiganga works, leaves it for Popolowski, and he can't hit the shot. Big pile up underneath.
Well, MacArthur is a real key guy in that paint, ready to block anything. You watch him right there, just swat it on the release. It's Michigan State ball.
And on the inbound, Smith with his first score of the day.
Smith, you'll find him any place on the court, underneath, on the outside, and he can hit from any position.
And he did the other day in helping the Spartans beat Murray State in overtime. He had 6 of the points in OT. Get pass over to Johnson. They want to get it to MacArthur, and Hart's going to set it again. Johnson open for the 3.
As all that motion coming from the weak side, you're constantly in action fighting through picks. Very tough to defense, this Santa Barbara ball club.
And another offensive foul, Tommy. This one's going to go against Redfield, and the Gauchos have a 5-point lead with 15:52 to go first half.
Not long ago, Toyota and Honda were the last word in the world of sporty imports. But that was just the calm before the storm. Introducing the all-new Storm GSI, the 16-valve performance force from Geo.
Getting to know you.
See your Chevrolet Geo dealer and get to know Geo Storm.
The pump from Reebok. It fits a little better than your ordinary athletic shoe.
Meet a hardcore woman living a hardcore life in a hardcore town.
Deep down inside, I'm just a hunk of mush like everybody else.
Valerie Bertinelli is Sydney.
Wait, where are you going?
Premieres Wednesday.
They're going to see that on the weak side of the court, this man comes down. All this motion creates picking action so that when he comes out, the pass comes over, he's wide open. They're constantly in motion so that all the time you have to keep moving. You can't really play them with a man-to-man unless you switch. Watch him pop out. Steve Smith just knocked off. Plenty of time to get the shot away.
And Johnson buried the three to give the Gauchos their biggest cushion. And they've got the ball with a 7-2 lead on the Big Ten champion Spartans of Michigan State. DeHart open at the two-corner, partially blocked by Smith. And Michigan State will bring it back after Hickman pulled down the rebound.
But UC Santa Barbara is getting the shots they want. And Michigan State has not been able to really get what they want.
Johnson all over Steve Smith. And he picks up his second foul. Other games going on in this NCAA tournament.
His second, team third.
Tar Heels try to surprise the Sooners. Ball State, can they do it again? Oh, wow. It is 7-2, and we've got a mild surprise going on here early in Knoxville. Hickman got MacArthur up, drew the foul. He'll have a chance for the three-point play.
A lot of people make a comparison between Steve Smith and Magic Johnson because he's a good dish man, and none better right now than as he comes into the paint and doubles, finds the open man, and that's a power move. MacArthur, the shot blocker for the Gauchos, not there quite quick enough.
Hickman already has more points than he had on Thursday. It's his first points of the tournament. And he completes the three-point play. That cuts the Gauchos' lead to 2. Mann's in the lineup for Michigan State, too. Judd changed up his personnel. Gray lost the handle. Here comes Redfield on the run.
Well, he's a good matchup for Eric MacArthur. He's got the quickness and the strength to block MacArthur out. He's also their best defensive player.
And we've got our first tie. Again, they look for MacArthur in low, and Davis with a little skip step.
In it goes, and Gray cannot hold on to it. And Redfield will just head to the hills, baby.
That ties things at 7. Back-to-back turnovers the last 2 trips for UC Santa Barbara.
Well, the tempo now becoming more the way that Judd Heathcote would like it.
Smith has 4.
At 1-4 offense with everybody with a white jersey on the baseline, and Smith an opportunity to go one-on-one has been most successful.
Michigan State with their first lead. So the Gauchos have hit a dry spell after leading 7-2. We've seen the Spartans go on a 7-0 run to take the lead. Here's Johnson posting up with hands, and it blocked in there by Hickman. Redfield will slow it down. And he threw it away. Akins all the way.
That was one wide body tracking down another wide body.
Wow. They call Akins the A train. Get out of his way. Tie game at 9.
I'd give him a token.
And already the Gauchos, as they did the other day, have found out, as Tommy said, this isn't so tough. So far, they're dead even with the Big Ten champions. That's going to get him in trouble, though. Johnson, guarding Mans, picks up another foul.
Foul is on Johnson.
Going to see right now a real bad pass as they were really looking for Smith. And watch these two big guys just swoop after the ball. And when they say use your body so you can protect the ball, nobody's getting at that ball when he's dribbling.
He had plenty of body to protect with. Johnson had to sit down with 3 fouls, and that brings Idris Jones into the lineup.
That's a key loss right now, as he's one of their better defensive players.
He was the guy they were going to hand Steve Smith to most of the day, and now he'll probably have to sit the remainder of the first half. Mans on the baseline. He went out of there, and Akins pulls down the rebound. Idris Jones, a freshman. Here's Akins losing the handle. And the Gauchos with their 4th turnover.
Just a little bit anxious that time. Was open, squeezed the ball, almost knocked the air out of it.
Paul Johnson, top defender. And also a guy that can score, and he's on the bench for Jerry Pym.
Well, he's an excellent outside shooter, so that ought to allow Michigan State to pack it in a little bit.
Mans, who was so effective against Murray State, in fact had the winning shot the other night. Redfield almost lost it. Hickman picks it up in the paint.
White with the left hand.
Again, Michigan State by 2. Gray wants it down low. Got it, had it knocked away from behind by Hickman. Akins picked up a pass that wasn't supposed to be his, I don't think.
That offense, you go to the ball strong. If you get overplayed, you reverse quickly and you get layups out of it, but you got to make good passes. And UC Santa Barbara usually does.
Mans over a double team. That's not the greatest of shots for him. He's got to square up to be effective for his jump shots. 11:49 to go first half. Tie game between Michigan State and UC Santa Barbara.
To us at UPS, this is a custom car. Why, this beauty's been modified dozens of times. It has a fiberglass fuel-efficient front, a rapid opening foam-filled door, and a sunroof, all of which makes us more efficient, so we can deliver next-day air for up to half what other companies charge, and allow our drivers to be seen in one mean set of wheels. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
It's Tuesday afternoon in Ford County.
Darndest thing about life here in Ford County. You'd think with a name like Ford County, people would prefer Ford trucks. Au contraire, people from Ford prefer Chevy trucks.
Always said we were on the cutting edge.
Isn't that the darndest thing?
Could it be we're the bellwether of major societal shifts?
It's mind-boggling.
Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. Today's truck is Chevrolet.
Listen up. McDonald's fries surprise is so easy to play, a rutabaga could figure it out. Buy a large or a medium fries or a hash brown, then peel off the sticker. You win every time. Like a Big Mac for 69 cents, $10,000, or fly anywhere in the world Delta Airlines goes. Ooh, if that's not terrific, I'm not a member of the Tuber family. So play McDonald's fries surprise today. It's the game with appeal. Appeal? I love potato humor.
Eastern Regional second-round action. UConn a big win over the California Bears, and the duo of doom, Davis and Campbell, got the best of LaSalle and Lionel Simmons by 4. Those teams advance now to meet in East Rutherford.
I tell you, that UConn team, I watched them. It's like an army of red ants. They leave nothing in their wake.
They'll get after you, won't they? Number 1 seed, of course, Big East champions. Here, the number 1 seed in the Southeast, Michigan State tied with the Gauchos. UC Santa Barbara, Akins misses badly, and Poplawski cleared it away for the Spartans.
Michigan State has been out there challenging the perimeter game, and UC Santa Barbara has not been able to make their inside game really work.
Mans leaves it off for Smith. Want to look in low to Poplawski. Instead, Smith's going to design something on his own. Got it to Montgomery. And the Gauchos almost came up with a steal.
Great defense by Akins that time to get a hand down on that bounce pass. But they are very good at defending the low post.
Dean Smith's Tar Heels by 7, and Ball State still doing it. The Denny Crumb's Cardinals by 13.
That's got to be the
giant
surprise
killers, huh?
of the day.
Yeah.
Maybe of the tournament.
Fresh 45 on the shot clock for the Spartans. Outside. Redfield can't get it. Smith rather. And Idris Jones bringing it down for the Gauchos. Pass through traffic. Here's Gray from 15.
They're getting the shots they want.
Neither team can get them to fall right now.
Now here's the guy they want to get in the game, Mans, because when he gets hot, boy, their offense starts to perk.
Idris Jones with his 2nd rebound in a row. Eric DeHart's going to slow things down for the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos. DeHart works for his jumper.
He was a 2-guard until Brian Shaw left and recruited somebody else last year, and a great job as the point guard this year.
Smith missed, got his own rebound, missed again, and Poplawski ties it up.
A man with the tattoo on his ankle.
The Polish eagle tattoo on the ankle. He's something.
Why does he hide it under a sock?
Tied at 13, under the 10-minute mark, first half. Idris Jones, the freshman, has one go in and out.
He's been in a slump the tail end of the season. They need some points from him.
They're definitely going to need him with Paul Johnson on the bench with 3 fouls. Mans can't connect from 3-point land.
Well, he brought him back in the game against Murray State. And he's probably the prime reason that they beat Murray State.
He had 21 in that game on Thursday to help Michigan State hang on and beat the Racers of Murray State. DeHart open again. Can't get it to drop. Steve Smith snatches it off for the Spartans.
Boy, they get wide open shots, too.
Nobody can buy one.
Up-tempo basketball, but not everybody running for Michigan State. Nobody there for cleanup rebounds.
Michigan State 6 out of 18 right now from the floor. Tied at 13. Idris Jones. Poplawski pulls it down. Here come the Spartans. Man's got his man up. Got the shot away, and he's fouled by Jones. Jerry Pym not crazy about the call.
Well, Eric Mans is a senior, and you're going to see him just a little up fake. That lifts the freshman. Little reach over. Excuse me, that was Kirk Mans. But this kid was stroking it from the outside the other night, and all season long did the job. And he is one of their prime offensive options. But I need him to produce today.
And he's not going to miss from the free throw line either. 86% free throw shooter, completes a 3-point play, and Michigan State has their biggest lead. Neither team be shooting that well. They're getting some good shots. Can't get them to fall right now. But Michigan State has worked it to a 3-point lead, 16-13. Gray with a hook.
Well, they just spread out on Redfield.
Gray cuts it back to Spartans by 1. And Montgomery got it too far out in front of Mans. Michigan State with their 4th turnover. And with 7:35 to go first half, the Spartans of Michigan State holding on to a 1-point lead.
In country music, there's a lot of songs about drinking and a lot of songs about driving. And there's not a thing wrong with singing them both in the same show. But if you've been drinking, don't take your show on the road. Please don't drink and drive.
A reminder from George Strait and Bud Light.
It's Wednesday morning in Ford County.
Hey, Dad, is it really true that full-size Chevy pickups have more two-sided galvanized steel than Ford?
That's right, son. The electrolytic deposition of zinc on steel protects it from chemical oxidation.
But I mean, if it helps stop rust, how come a big company like Ford doesn't use as much as Chevy?
I don't know, son. I just don't know.
Rust protection. No wonder people from Ford prefer Chevy trucks. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Express mail from your post office offers you 46,000 drop-off points.
We deliver.
A guaranteed morning delivery.
We deliver.
And an overnight price of just $8.75.
We deliver.
Speed, convenience, price. It's a package only we can deliver. Express mail from your postal service.
We deliver for you.
Sunday isn't always a day of rest. Tomorrow, catch a triple-header thriller as second-round excitement continues. It's March Madness Mania.
Already 3 teams have advanced to the Sweet 16. The Huskies, the Rebels, and the Tigers of Clemson. Bo Kimball with brilliant performance last night, leading Loyola Marymount in their second round, onto the second round. Michigan and Kansas, 7 straight wins. The ACC didn't get much respect in the seedings, and they've done extremely well. How about Kimball last night? Wasn't that something, Tom?
That was really a heart-throbbing game, and when he took that free throw, the first free throw lefty, boy, everybody just, you had to cry almost. But, you know, that space-age offense, they're going to give Loyola Marymount is going to give Michigan a tough go, I think.
Back-to-back turnovers here in Knoxville as the Gauchos threw it away, and then Hickman took a skip step trying to head to the hoop, and that'll give it back to UC Santa Barbara, trailing by 1.
UC Santa Barbara is doing quite well without Eric MacArthur in there, who's been saddled with those 2 personals.
Paul Johnson also on the bench with 3, so 2 of their starters in foul trouble. And again, the Spartans pick up the steal. DeHart on Steve Smith. Smith works it for a jumper baseline.
Boy, they really got up on the pick and forced him to the baseline, but with his size, he freed up his shooting hand.
Spartans have matched their biggest lead of 3. We're under 6.5 minutes to go first half. Gary Gray is going to take it. And the Spartans will run with it. Stegenga's first shot of the day. Can't get it. Rebound to Mike Meyer. Idris Jones way outside. Almost missed everything.
Boy, he shot that one before he sighted the hoop.
Nice job by DeHart to knock it away.
34 Davis in for Santa Barbara.
You're going to see Carrick DeHart really playing that pick beautifully, but it forces him to the baseline. Now you're going to see with his big 6'7" size, able to free up his shooting hand, even over a defender helping out.
That's what he did on Thursday. Scored inside, outside, the assists, the rebounds. Michigan State throws it away again. 7 turnovers against the Spartans here with 5:54 to go first half. Brad Nessler and Tommy Heinsohn with you at Knoxville. Second round of the Southeast Regional.
Well, it was pace and patience and poise for this ball game, and probably a little execution, and neither team is really executing the way either coach would like, I'm sure.
Gray works in, ran out of real estate and lost it. Stiganga on a 3-on-1. Redfield finishes it off.
3-on-1 situation, and the UC Santa Barbara defense never got back.
You can tell that the Gauchos need Eric MacArthur back in the lineup. Herbst outside. They've only scored 8 points without MacArthur in there. Smith tried the no-look pass. It was stolen away.
Well, that was one of those Magic Johnson type passes.
Gauchos can cut it back to a 3-point Spartan lead if they score. Something they've been unable to do the last several trips down court. And again, the Spartans come up with a steal. Stiganga will take it himself.
Need a timeout.
And Jerry Pym calls it. His Gauchos now trailing by 7. 22-15, Michigan State in front.
My brother said, help me out. Now I've got a backache that could last all day. But I don't take aspirin or Tylenol. Today, it's Advil. See, Advil is different. Just one Advil is as effective as 2 regular-strength Tylenol. That's important. And Advil is gentler to my stomach than aspirin. Whenever I hurt from some heavy lifting, the first thing I'm picking up is Advil. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
And for colds in this year's flu, try new Co-Advil, advanced formula for cold and sinus relief.
Mazda isn't shouting about its spring sales event. Not with values like this 626, with more room and a better basic warranty than Honda Accord. It's priced $966 less. And now get $1,000 cash back plus air or automatic at no extra charge. With up to $1,810 in value, we don't have to shout. But maybe we want to.
At your local Mazda dealers now.
Your first house, the biggest investment you've ever made. How will you protect it? Call Allstate before you close for answers and comforting prices. Another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
There's another way for new homeowners to save money. The Allstate New House Discount. It could save you up to 15% on Allstate homeowners insurance. Another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Michigan State has played great defense all year. That's probably the reason for that victory there. They surround the point guard of Santa Barbara, and off they go to the races. Stiganga, great hands, and a finisher with a strong leap.
There he is, one of 5 steals that the Spartans have converted into 6 points in this ball game. 22-15. Michigan State by 7, 4:20 to go first half.
MacArthur's back in the ball game right now, has not really made his presence felt.
Again, MacArthur with the 2 early fouls, and that's taken him right out of the game plan here for the Gauchos. DeHart wants to get him involved, though. Now he's going to work for his own shot. Carrick DeHart's got 4.
They get you so busy covering people on the weak side that DeHart had a height advantage over Montgomery. Saw it, used it.
Under 4 minutes to go first half. Michigan State's biggest lead has been 7. That was moments ago. Now they've got Lucius Davis on Steve Smith. And he fouls Smith. First foul on Davis.
Trying to use size players on Smith because, much like Magic Johnson with the Lakers, that's what makes him so good, is that most people who play in the backcourt aren't nearly as tall. And Smith right now is a big guard who can handle it on the dribble for a guy his size. So you got to match up with somebody to try and take that jump shot away from him. Otherwise, he leans right over you.
Poplawski comes back in. Smith has 7 points. Coming up, Jim Nance for the road to the Final Four. Scores and highlights from other games. Jim will bring you up to date on everything going on in the NCAA basketball tournament with 3 teams already on their way to the Sweet 16. One of these survivors also will join that group. Smith can't get the second. 6-point Spartan lead. MacArthur wants it. Kicks it back out to DeHart for 3.
Boy, off that kick, he had plenty of time to square up and sight the hoop.
Gaucho's right back in it. DeHart shooting better than he did against Murray State on Thursday. He hit his first 3 in that game and then went ice cold, but he's kept the Gauchos close so far. Poplawski, little turnaround jumper won't go, and Redfield can't get the follow. The Gauchos tried to push it and threw it away.
They do try to advance the ball, but there really wasn't anything there, and DeHart probably should have called for it and held it up.
UNLV advances by beating the Buckeyes of Ohio State. UConn, big win. And Clemson by 4 over LaSalle. Clemson trailed badly in that game and fought back and won it. We're under 2.5 minutes to go first half here in Knoxville. Michigan State by 3. And the Gauchos will have a chance to cut into that lead. Still to come today on CBS. The 4th game of our quadruple header. Dayton and Arkansas. Some of you will see that. LSU and Georgia Tech. That'll be the 2nd game here in Knoxville. It'll be Chris Jackson and Kenny Anderson and Dennis Scott and all the rest. Could be a high-scoring event tonight here in round 2. Gray got it low, left-handed. Tried to keep it alive and knocked it out of bounds.
I'm looking forward to seeing Chris Jackson play Kenny Anderson. I don't know if they're going to match up with each other, but they're both going to have an impact on that game. And this will be the first time I looked at Kenny Anderson. But to broadcast, what I saw the other night was just outstanding.
He's pretty smooth. But Poplawski almost threw it away. Redfield went high to pull it down. Nice cutoff by Davis as the Spartans have 16 on the shot clock. Poplawski got it back off the glass. Nice speed by Stegenga. And Poplawski's got twice as many points today as he had all of Thursday.
Now, MacArthur, their shot blocker with the 2 fouls, has really backed off and has challenged nothing inside the paint.
Mike Meyer. Back to DeHart. He's been the offense so far for the Gauchos. Davis backs in on Smith. Going to take it. Mans will pull it off the weak side. Three-pointer by Mans. The Gauchos got a hand on that one, and they'll get it back, trailing by 5 with 47 seconds to go in the half. Idris Jones, a pretty good three-point shooter, comes back in. Judd Heathcote, as you were talking about, Tommy, he's a little worried that his team's been sluggish ever since they won the Big Ten title.
Well, they showed me a little bit more intensity here, but the execution isn't what you'd think of a Big Ten champion. He was concerned. And I tell you, the assistant coaches were telling Judd, we got to make them practice harder. And Judd said, I'm going to let up on these guys. I think they're emotionally tired, too.
The Gauchos have 20 on the shot clock. There's about a 2-second difference on the game clock and the shot clock. DeHart can't get the 3. Michigan State will have another chance. Neither team can score before the buzzer. And at halftime, Judd Heathcote's Michigan State Spartans leading the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara by 5.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when. Advil, advanced medicine for pain. And by the United States Postal Service, we deliver for you.
Did you know the cost of 2 business calls from these Chicago art galleries to Minneapolis at 3 p.m. may surprise you?
Great piece. It's one of a kind.
With AT&T Pro Watts, for this 3-minute business call, you can get AT&T quality for prices that are extremely competitive. Even though the other company would like you to believe, they always save you lots of money.
That's my big savings? That's it. Big deal.
Value. Another AT&T advantage.
Mazda won't be shouting about its spring sales event. Why? Just look at this MX-6 GT. Roomier and more powerful than Honda Prelude SI at price $936 less. And now get any MX-6 and get $1,000 cash back, plus air or automatic at no extra charge. With up to $1,810 in value, you don't have to shout. Well, maybe just a little.
At your local Mazda dealers now.
On BASF videotape, your children will never grow old. BASF, tape that lasts forever.
A Michelin tire can give you enough miles to circle the world more than 2 times. That's a lot of trips to Grandma's.
It's a Wild West weekend on CBS. Saturday, Lee Horsley teams up with the greatest legends of the West in a special 2-hour paradise. Then, on Sunday, James Arness is back.
My name's Dillon, Matt Dillon.
To rescue the daughter he never knew he had in an all-new Gunsmoke. It's the Wild West at its wild best this weekend.
This is CBS.
If you haven't had your brakes checked lately, what's stopping you? Take your troubles to Tuffy.
Tuffy Auto Service Centers install only the highest quality brake parts, which enables Tuffy to give you a lifetime warranty. Make the choice that saves you time and money. Choose Tuffy.
Come to Tuffy and let us put a stop to bad brakes. Tuffy Auto Service Centers. We do it right, and we do it right away.
About now, we all need something to help us get over the winter blahs, and Estes Furniture has just the tonic you need. For a limited time, Estes is offering beautiful lawn and patio furniture at 30 to 40% off suggested retail. Famous names like Woodard, Tropitone, and Lloyd at savings of 30 to 40%. So, think spring, but don't delay. Like winter, this sale won't last forever. Estes Furniture, North Washington at Grand River, proving every day that quality is not expensive.
At the half, a 1 seed, Oklahoma trailing, a 4 seed, Louisville trailing. We'll get to those stories as we continue on the road to the Final Four. Jim Nance and Mike Francesa here in New York. 3 games going on right now. A 1 seed trailing, a 4 seed trailing, big time out in the West. And another 1 seed, Michigan State, is winning against Santa Barbara, but it's close in that one. Michigan State by 5 at the half, Mike.
25-20, main reason, no one's shooting the ball well. 33% for Michigan State, 34 for UC Santa Barbara. A grinded out game. Eric MacArthur, 2 points in the first half.
All right, the baseball situation, again, stirring up today, and Jim Gray has been following this for the last 3 weeks. Day 31 right now of the lockout. Let's get another update right now live from Jim Gray. Jim, take it away.
Well, Jim, right now the 26 player representatives are meeting with Union Chief Don Fear. The meeting's been going on for about 2.5 hours. They're debating what to do, whether or not to accept the owner's new proposal. Now, Marvin Miller, the former union boss, just left. He addressed the union, and he told me very specifically and point blank, there are no cracks in this union. We're as strong as ever. We saw Fay Vincent walking out to lunch a bit ago, and Fay Vincent said that now the
the opening day on April 2nd is nothing more than a pipe dream. So the PRC is waiting, as well as the commissioner, to get a response from the players, as we are. And we'll be back with updates throughout the afternoon. Jim?
All right, Jim, while we have a chance, let's update the scores from today as we start the second round. And some finals are in. First of all, in the East, Clemson, a big-time comeback, down 16 at the half to beat LaSalle 79-75. In fact, trailed by 19 in the first half before trimming it to 16 at the intermission. And Lionel Simmons, Mike, what about him today?
Well, his last game, Jim, 28 points, but it wasn't enough.
Well, really, Clemson played like this in the opening round against BYU. Woke up in the second half, in the late going, and there they go inside to Davis. And Simmons fouled out, ending what was a brilliant career, 3,131 points in his career, number 3 all-time. But Clemson now moves on to the Sweet 16, coming back from 16 to move on Thursday at the Meadowlands. Next up for the Tigers will be the 1 seed in the East, UConn, a 20-point win today against California. And Connecticut looked very strong from the start, forcing a lot of turnovers against the Bears. And you talk about a team play, team effort here. Watch this one, Mike.
UConn's strength, one of the big strengths, Jim, is they can pass the basketball, as you see right here. Plus, they force the turnovers. 28 turnovers, 16 steals. It's a good team.
Rod Sellers hobbling, re-injured, a left knee that was injured in the Big East tournament, will be re-examined tomorrow. It is not known at this point whether he will be able to go on Thursday. He is a starter. Connecticut and Clemson will meet Thursday in the Meadowlands in the Sweet 16, the regional semifinals. How do you see that one right now, early, Mike, shaping up between those two?
Which Clemson team are we going to see? The one we saw against BYU in the first half, or the one we saw give a great defensive effort in the second half?
These teams are really kind of similar when you think about it. A lot of people didn't give them credit as the year went on. Clemson won the ACC regular season, UConn, Big East, and here they are.
Again, with UConn, the key, everything predicated off the defense. If they can turn you over, they can win.
All right, UNLV, the 1 seed in the West, advanced on to the Sweet 16 once again. UNLV over Ohio State 76-65, and the running Rebels will await now the winner of that Ball State-Louisville game. And UNLV was threatened today by Ohio State.
Ohio State didn't want to quit. They didn't quit. They got inside early in the game. UNLV won this game, and the game was closer than the final score indicates. They shot 1 of 15 from 3 and still won the ball game.
Well, we've brought in all of the audiences right now, and Ball State leads Louisville in that other West game 36-23. Now, in women's scores, Providence is on a win streak, 77-75, a victory in that one over Maryland to move on in the women's tournament on the road to Knoxville. North Carolina State, the Lady Wolfpack, with a win over Michigan by 17. And South Carolina was a winner today against Northwestern in women's tournament play. Now, let's, again, set the schedule for you. We'll be going to LSU, Georgia Tech. Most of the country will see that game. That's the second game taking place in Knoxville. The 4-seed Georgia Tech against the 5-seed LSU. And Dayton, the winner over Illinois. Dayton, a 12-seed against Arkansas. And Arkansas is the 4-seed. So that will be a good one going up later on today. And we'll have all of the action as we continue on quadruple header Saturday. Now, as we meander along the road to the Final Four, we find that our far-flung correspondents continue to unearth these small nuggets that fit together inexplicably to form the big picture.
Welcome, college hoop fans, to another edition of the NCAA Newsreel. Not since Sherman marched through Georgia has so much firepower been amassed in Atlanta. These are 3 most wanted men, and they've engineered the high-tech lethal weapon 3. There's Kenny Anderson, the Frosh with panache, Deadeye Dennis Scott, and Big Brian Oliver. 3 tough hombres on the court. 3, well, stooges off it.
Drink milk, good for your bones. Pass it on, it does the body good. I mean, it's like almost like we're kind of like brothers, you know? Dennis and I have been together for, what, 3 years now, and then Kenny comes in. It's something that just happened, you know, I guess maybe spending time together or the fact that we're all working towards one goal. I don't know, but it's something different. It's something special.
The Big 3, the Final Four, and now the High Five.
No little thing to get it in, to sign off, but...
Here's a story that's ensured to touch your heart. Remember Rick Majerus? A year ago, he coached the Ball State Cardinals to a first-round win over Pittsburgh. It was his last victory as Cardinal coach. Majerus migrated to Utah, but was soon sidelined by open-heart surgery. Thursday, he was back in circulation, keeping pace with Billy Packer as Ball State played its opener. Paris McCurdy hit this buzzer beater and then showed that, yes, there just might be a touch of April in this Paris as he stepped to the line and kissed off Oregon State. For Paris and Majerus, it would not be the final kiss.
Dick was sweating a lot more than I was. I was just not, I was just a spectator.
Looks like another Robert Ludlum novel. This plot is more complicated. The hero tracks down the mysterious Bigfoot, a 7'1" freshman who fills a size 17 sneaker. And now your favorite newsreel will reveal Dale's appeal to Shaquille O'Neal.
Coach Brown was doing a clinic in Germany. And at the end of the clinic, I went up to him, I said, Coach Brown, I can't dunk. I'm 6'8", I can't dunk. I need you to give me some stuff, on how to jump.
And as I turned to my bag to get a pen and a piece of paper, I said, how long have you been in the service, soldier?
I laughed at him and said, I ain't in the Army, man. I'm only 13. 13? Where's your dad? Where's your dad?
And that wraps up today's edition of the NCAA Newsreel.
All right, Don Robertson, and we'll see Shaquille against Lethal Weapon 3 coming up later tonight. Again, the 3 games going on right now, 3 blockbusters. Oklahoma trailing North Carolina, the 1 seed, losing to the 8 seed. Rick Fox has hit 4 out of 5 threes, has 14 points for the Tar Heels at the half in Austin. Meanwhile, Salt Lake City, Louisville shooting 27%, down 13 to Ball State at the half. And in Knoxville, Southeast, the 1 seed, Michigan State 5 up on the Gauchos. And we'll get you back to your games, keep you updated on everything as we continue on the road to the Final Four.
The Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra is one of America's most popular cars, and it's about to get a lot more popular. We've rolled back the price on the Cutlass Sierra S sedan by $500. Plus, factory-to-dealer incentives of $750 to $1,250 may be passed on to you, and qualified first-time buyers can get $600 cash back. That could mean up to $2,350 on a new Sierra S. See your Olds dealer now for details and deals.
On a new generation Oldsmobile.
Halftime at Thompson Bowling Arena. The Spartans of Michigan State by 5 over the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara. Brad Nessler and Tommy Heinsohn. Tommy, neither of these teams has played an artistic first half, to say the least.
I'll tell you, they executed, the key phrase was pace, patience and poise. And both teams exhibited that, but boy, they didn't execute. That's the lost element. Neither team shot really well, and I don't think the defense was that great either.
Let's take a look at the statistics, and you can see neither team shooting well. 39% for Michigan State, UC Santa Barbara at only 33. The turnover story with the Gauchos, 1 more than the Spartans, and the Spartans have made those turnovers count. Their steals have turned into 12 points, only 4 for the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara. Leading scorers, Carrick DeHart with 7, Steve Smith with 7, but that has basically been it, because the head man for the Gauchos spent most of the time on the bench, and that was Eric MacArthur. Spartans by 5. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
When Tom died, I just went numb. Then I panicked. I knew we had life insurance, so I wrote the checks. With the kids in college, I figured things would be pretty tight. Was I surprised? I had no idea the policies would have gone up so much in value. They even helped me open this place.
There is a difference. Northwestern Mutual Life, ranked first in dividend performance more times than any other company over the last 50 years. The quiet company.
So much to do and so little time. When it's time to finance or lease your new GM vehicle, let GMAC do it right in the dealership. GMAC. Nobody wants to get you into your new GM car or truck faster, so you'll have time for more important things.
The Italians lust for anything American. So in cars, Tonio Ligori prefers an American one. And of all the ways to a woman's heart, he chooses the American way. Cool, clean, Old Spice. #1 in America. #1 in the world. Only one antiperspirant in the world keeps you so dry with the cool, clean scent of Old Spice.
This is CBS.
It's the final 2 days of fantastic furniture savings.
And bargain hunters are coming from everywhere to the sell-a-thon sale at Value City Furniture.
This trailer living room suit, not $1,100. All 3 pieces, only $688.
This new open stock bedroom group starting $69 each piece.
End tables, your choice, $59. 3-piece lamp set, $66.
Buy now with no money down. Get $5,000 express credit, no payment till June 1990.
Don't miss the final 2 days of the sell-a-thon sale at Value City Furniture.
Pack your bag. Take a holiday at the Holiday Lanes, Mid-Michigan's most modern bowling and recreation center. Spring is here. Now's the time to sign up for spring bowling leagues at the Holiday Lanes. Begin your week with Monday night's Mixed No-Tap League or choose from Tuesday's Mixed Bowling League, Wednesday's 3-member league, or yet another night of Mixed No-Tap action on Thursday. Leagues start the first week of May, so sign up now. Spring bowling at the Holiday Lanes, located just north of Frandor on Grand River.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler, 7-Up, the cool spot. And by Gillette and the revolutionary Gillette Sensor Shaving System. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee, where the Spartans of Judd Heathcote have a 5-point halftime lead, and when they lead at halftime, they don't lose. 24-0 on the season when they're up at the break, and they've got a 5-point cushion on the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara.
Well, Santa Barbara has to start hitting the outside shot, and they've been very, very good most of the season in that department. But Johnson was out in foul trouble. MacArthur.
How long does it take those two guys, Tommy, to not only physically but mentally get back into it here in the second half? They sat out so much of the first half.
Normally it takes a couple of minutes. And this is the guy, Johnson, Paul Johnson, that they need to get his offense going to supplement the Hart. And with MacArthur not being in there, the inside threat has been negated. So they got to find some offensive solution right now.
Got to get it to number 55. That'd help. Davis wants to get it to MacArthur, but he'll bring it back on top to Johnson. DeHart, the leading scorer in the first half, had 7. Johnson off the pass. Can't get it to go. Tough rebound for Davis, and he's fouled by Stegenga.
Well, you know, it's funny. Paul Johnson came out off a double pick, was wide open, and just waited for Steve Smith to get him, and then ended up taking a very poor shot in the paint with Steve Smith on him. So, you know, maybe that awe factor that we mentioned at the top of the game, they don't quite feel that perhaps they belong in this thing. From what I can see, they're not playing with a lot of confidence.
Lucius Davis, 3 points on the day. Sophomore out of San Jose. Lang, the second one off the back of the rim. It does cut Michigan State's lead back to 4. Redfield trying to go backdoor to Stegenga and threw it away.
That's good defense that time by Paul Johnson. Was with him all the way. Never looked at the ball. Just stayed with his man.
So the Gauchos can cut it to a 2-point Spartan cushion if they can score this trip. They just can't seem to get the ball to MacArthur.
Well, they're not timing their passes as the man comes off the pick. They're giving him the ball way too late so that the shot is gone by the time they get the ball.
Gary Gray can't get it from short range, and we've got a foul underneath as Montgomery, trying to get position against MacArthur, picks up his second. Michigan State and UC Santa Barbara here. The winner will advance to New Orleans to meet the winner of tonight's matchup between LSU and Georgia Tech. And Judd Heathcote, 10-3 in NCAA tournament play. Jerry Pym, several good years at Utah, and now in his 7th season as head coach of the Gauchos.
Well, the other night, Judd Heathcote was furious, and he was stomping up and down that sideline. I love to watch him walk the sideline. He's got that wide stance. It looks like a guy taking the garbage out.
Spartans 25-21 leaders with 18 minutes to play in the ballgame. Montgomery works around to Hart. The Genga barely handles it on the baseline. Redfield, nice move to the hoop. MacArthur is going to pick up his 3rd foul. And that's not going to help the cause for the Gauchos.
Well, MacArthur is playing a pretty quick man in Redfield, so that when he goes out with him, Redfield can put it on the floor, and that's what's causing the problem. MacArthur's, I think, played more power forward types that like to play in the low post.
Redfield, 4 points in the first half. It's his first trip to the free throw line. Senior out of Chicago. Tar Heels back in front of the Sooners in the second half in the Midwest. Ball State trying to pull another surprise and leading Louisville and have throughout that game. Here it's 26-21 Michigan State. DeHart finally gets it in low to MacArthur, and he lost it as he wheeled on Redfield.
Redfield got a hand on it. I'll tell you, he is the stopper, and he can play anybody at any position, a point guard, quick forward, or a center.
Here's that matchup again. MacArthur goes strong, and he's fouled.
We had an opportunity to talk with Eric MacArthur yesterday, and you're going to see the move right now. Good up fake as he gets it right over the box, and then with strong leaping ability and extra long arms, got a 7'3" arm span, makes him play a little bit bigger. But when we were talking to him, we said, what do you need to have an attitude to be a good rebounder? And he looked at me in the face and he said, relentless intensity, tenacity. And I said to myself, this kid knows how to offensive rebound.
That's right. Missed the free throw and a chance for a three-point play, though. But it does cut Michigan State's lead back to 3. Steve Smith now at the point. Mann's trying to work around a pick for a shot. He's been quiet offensively today. Really, everyone has. Leading scorers still in the game are DeHart and Smith with 7 each. And Smith lost it. MacArthur cleared it to DeHart. 1-point game.
A good look up after the block by MacArthur, and DeHart just streaked out there.
Watch out for this guy if he gets loose. DeHart picks up the foul.
Here we're going to see the steal as Davis reaches in and knocks it away. MacArthur comes up with it and immediately spots DeHart. And that's what you call selective fast breaks. Poise and patience. Unless you got a layup.
Michigan State's lead cut to 1. 26-25, just over 16 minutes to go in the ball game. Johnson with 3 fouls trying to cover Steve Smith. Poplowski right back to Hickman. Good ball movement by the Spartans. They still don't get a shot off it. Davis knocked it away, and MacArthur picked it up again. Works one-on-one over Stevens. Can't get it. Smith saves it. Davis picks it up. Gauchos can lead if they can score. Eric DeHart wants Davis to handle it at the point. So he's going to swing over to the 2-guard spot.
Well, there's not as much motion right now in the UC Santa Barbara offense.
The mismatch underneath was Davis and Manns, but Davis takes an off-balance shot that doesn't go. And Stevens on the other end, fouled by DeHart as he flew in there. 15-19 to go in the ball game. Michigan State leading 26-25. Jerry Pimm's Gauchos hanging in there.
I mean, he's got a great coaching life, though, Jerry Pimm, right? Saw that recruiting film? He lives on a yacht. And when we said a houseboat, he said, it's a yacht.
A yacht, not a houseboat. A 50-footer. He says that's the way to get away from the earthquake area. But he says, my luck, I'll get hit by a tidal wave. Stevens, who helped Michigan State win the Big Ten title with a dunk in the final 20 seconds against Purdue, has his first point of the day. He's got them both. And Michigan State takes it back to a 3-point lead for Judd Heathcote, 28-25.
Those tough Mazda trucks, the most trouble-free in America, backed by the best basic truck warranty, bar none. Get yours now, and you'll also get up to $1,000 cash back from Mazda. The Mazda Spring Sales Event. It's not subtle, but it's catchy.
At your local Mazda dealers now.
During Hurricane Hugo, when speed was critical, the Allstate team helped thousands of policyholders get a fast start on recovery.
All the debris that's piled back here is part of my house. This huge oak tree, it's about 6 feet in diameter, fell across our carport.
And
thank
hopefully
you so
that'll
much.
take care of it for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Allstate's been so good to me.
Gillette announces a razor that can sense the individual needs of your face. Introducing the extraordinary Gillette Sensor Shaving System. Sensor blades are mounted on responsive springs to continuously sense and adjust to your face for the best shave a man can get. Closer, smoother, safer. New Gillette Sensor. Cher, Dennis Quaid, brought together by a murder and a suspect. Suspect, Tuesday at 8:30.
Michigan State by 3 with 15-19 to go here in Knoxville. And the lady in the white top is Eric MacArthur's mom. That's Sarah. And obviously pulling for that young man, Eric MacArthur. Dad's here too, we understand. Melvin Sr. Michigan State has yet to attempt a field goal, and we are almost 5 minutes into the second half. They've had 3 turnovers, and there's a turnover by the Gauchos.
Well, I've never seen so many mishandles in a major game as has happened in this one. Guys just can't catch the ball.
Michigan State by 3. Their biggest lead was 7 in the first half. The Gauchos from the Big West just won't go away, despite the fact they're not shooting well either. Steve Smith works inside. MacArthur couldn't do anything with the foul trouble. He doesn't want to add to the 3 he already has. Gray, left hand, lost it going up. Here comes Stevens on the run. Smith pulls up. Somehow Mann's got the rebound. Good feed in low. Smith missed it twice. And now some shoves inside between Smith and MacArthur.
Here's Smith coming off those picks, and they're sending him to the middle. They're overplaying him to the outside. They're hoping for help from MacArthur, but MacArthur with the fouls just let him go over the top, never challenged the shot.
Judd Heathcote's going to settle down Steve Smith, who picked up the foul in that instance. He and MacArthur shook hands after their little altercation. Michigan State back in front by 5.
You know, Steve Smith can get a little stubborn. He got a D in high school, and the penalty was to run laps at practice. His high school coach said you got to run laps, and he wouldn't do it. And he quit the team, and that was the day before the district championship, so he can be a little stubborn.
Stevens had it blocked to It's a goaltend on Lucius Davis. And the Spartans back in front by 7. That matches their biggest lead of the ball game. The Gauchos in desperate need of a bucket with 13.5 minutes to play. Michigan State fans are getting into it. And they're not wearing green because it's St. Patrick's Day. DeHart, the leading scorer for the Gauchos with 9. Eric MacArthur in low. Redfield clears it off. Stevens to Redfield. Poplawski wants it. And he's fouled from behind. Akins picks up his foul, his first foul. Other scores, North Carolina and Oklahoma. That's a beauty in the second half. The Sooners back in front by 1. Ball State, after beating Oregon State, trying to surprise Louisville.
You know, Louisville has those games where their outside shooting just doesn't happen, and they can look awfully bad. And all of a sudden, they hit a couple of outside shots, and they're right back in it. But,
you know they can dunk it on the break.
They sure
cut
can.
That break off. Sometimes the game goes haywire on them.
I think this tournament is really a new type of basketball being played. More three-point shooting, wide open offenses. Not so much emphasis on the big guys.
Poplawski blocks Akins. MacArthur kicks it out, and Treese Jones, three-pointer. Got his own rebound. Spartans by 9. This is their biggest lead. Jerry Pym wants to talk it over with his UC Santa Barbara Gauchos. 34-25, Michigan State in front.
Mr. Ian McKenzie. I'm Angus McKenzie. Ian's moved down the road.
Today, with service to 175 countries,
Oh, you've been wanting in all, Mr. Mackenzie.
UPS delivers to nearly 4 billion people,
Also for McKenzie.
including the extraordinary concentration of Mackenzies along the northeast coast of Scotland.
Mr. Ian Alistair McKenzie. No trouble finding me, did you, lad? No trouble at all.
UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
There are 100 reasons to own a Mercedes-Benz. For John and me, it keeps coming down to just 2.
Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, second round of the Southeast Regional. Brad Nessler and Tommy Heinsohn with you, and Michigan State in front by 9 with 12:13 to go. And the Gauchos only have 5 points in this half, Tommy, and that's not going to cut it.
Well, there's been no execution in this ball game, really, by either ball club. And they just put an 8-0 run on UC Santa Barbara to get out in front, but it was anybody's ball game. Whoever could catch the ball would win this one, it appeared.
If Michigan State wouldn't have those points off turnovers, we'd probably still have a tie game. It hasn't been an artistic success by either of these clubs, but Michigan State will take the 9-point cushion, which is their biggest. Steve Smith now working down in the low post against Paul Johnson. Brings it back on top. Here he goes. Nice pass.
best play in the ball game by any individual. He drew the double team and spotted the open man. It was a nice, hard, crisp pass, and they made a strong move to pick up a potential three-point play. Look at that, right down. That was not an easy pass to catch. Strong up and in.
And a chance for a three-point play, as you'll see it from the baseline.
Whop.
That's the kind of shot he made to beat Purdue for the Big Ten title. He completes the three-point play. Stevens has had a good game, and now Michigan State with a little breathing room up by 12. The Gauchos only 3 for 13 this half on the field goals. 37-25 in this one. Elsewhere, Oklahoma still in front of the Tar Heels at Dean Smith. Ball State by 10 on the Louisville Cardinals. Earlier today, UNLV on their way to the Sweet 16 with an 11-point win. UConn wins by 20 over the Bears of California, and Clemson a 4-point win and a come-from-behind effort in their victory.
You know, UNLV, everybody out in that region says that they're just playing flawless basketball.
They, too, out of the Big West. This UC Santa Barbara team finished third in the Big West behind New Mexico State and UNLV. They've beaten UNLV this year, though. So they're a capable club when they play well. Today they're struggling a bit and trailing by 10 with 10:40 to play. Just can't hit the jump shots. And an over and back on the loose ball.
What else?
What else could happen, right?
From a team that really executed that motion offense so effectively, the timing of that thing has been so destroyed, and it isn't because Michigan State is playing such great defense. It's just that UCSB isn't getting the job done.
Gray trying to get to Johnson, another turnover. Montgomery pushes it up and now slows it.
It's going to be a moral victory if somebody catches a pass on a cut. Raise the flag here.
And a foul before the shot's going to go on Michigan State.
This guy is done about all you can do. Steve Smith.
You see, it's been a long dry spell for UCSB with only 2 points in the last 6 minutes or so. As a team, as far as three-point shooting goes, the guys they would look for would be Carrick to Hart. Who can't hit that one either. MacArthur in low. It's still a double-figure lead for the Spartans, 37-27, under 9.5 minutes to go in the ballgame.
Eric MacArthur has not been a factor in this second half either, and he's played the minutes.
He was brilliant the other night. 20 points, 11 rebounds, 5 block shots. He was all over the place. It hasn't been his day today. And he's going to pick up another foul. Sometimes you have those kind of afternoons, I guess, and that's what's happening to MacArthur. That's his fourth.
Well, they're going to have him in this ball game. If he goes down, he goes down, because they have not been able to string anything together. No momentum whatsoever.
The only time they had things going their way was at the beginning of the ball game when they led 7-2, and then Michigan State has controlled since. Redfield.
And they're starting to get into the rhythm of their game a little bit right now, Michigan State.
Herbst is going to check back in. And MacArthur will sit down with those 4 fouls with 9 minutes remaining in Michigan State, matching their biggest lead up by 12.
Gary Pym is just hoping he finds a hot hand here sooner or later.
Anybody that wants to step forward. That's not the way to score. With the ball out of bounds, another turnover against the Gauchos.
I mean, this isn't hard defense that are causing these turnovers.
UC Santa Barbara has 7 points in about 11.5 minutes of this second half. That's
their game. They can smell it right now with a play like that.
Smith with 13. And the Spartans opening it up right now. And the Gauchos simply have to have an answer. Finally, they get a basket. Big Ten champions who average almost 77 points a game with only 41, but it still is enough at this point. High percentage shots for Michigan State like this one have helped them to a 41-29 lead.
Well, a little weak side play, and everybody was looking at the ball, and he just sneaked behind the defense, and he can lift up into that stratosphere for dunks.
Here's Smith again. Doesn't get the roll. Gray does a nice job to save it. DeHart's going to take it himself. Offensive foul on DeHart. His third. And it's 41-29. Jerry Pimm's Gauchos trying to find an answer.
In financial matters, as in life, everybody's different. Different needs, different goals. The Principal Financial Group understands. Our financial services are as unique and individual as you are. Personalized solutions that offer each customer an advantage. That's the Principal Edge. It's made us one of America's largest. So for diversified products that fit your financial needs to the letter, look for the Principal Edge.
The purest shape ever given to a high-performance sedan is now even purer. There is now soft glove leather upholstery and rich new wood paneling. For 1990, the designers have made the 300E the most elegant sedan in its class. But let Mercedes-Benz reassure you, it is still engineered like no other car in the world.
Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. The one and only. Nothing beats it. The clean, the crisp, the cool. The king of beers.
Nothing beats the bud. Nothing beats the king of beers. Nothing beats the Budweiser. Nothing beats the Bud.
Dweezil Zappa, starring in Normal Life. Moon Zappa, starring in Normal Life. Not your normal comedy. Premieres Wednesday at 8.
7:48 to go in the ball game. Michigan State has opened it up to a 41-29 lead. Looking on here at Thompson Bowling Arena, Roy Kramer, the NCAA committee chairman for the Southeast region, also the SEC commissioner. And what he's seen is a Michigan State team struggle at times, but still have things going their way with 7:43 to play in the ball game.
Well, I think Michigan State has got Judge Heathcote's intensity level back. And I think really what's happened to UC Santa Barbara is that they just got too anxious playing in this game. You either try and get a ball club to not take it lightly or don't get too up for the game. And I think that perhaps the Gauchos were just flying too high, and I mean, when you can't catch passes, something's dramatically wrong, and guys cutting to the hoop, that usually means that you're too tight for the game, and it extended far, far too long into this ball game.
Poplawski goes to the free throw line after Gray picked up the foul. Ertz will clear off the miss.
You know, you don't give Knute Rockne talks to your ball club all the time. Sometimes you got to tell them jokes, even before big ball games, just to get them down a little bit.
Carrick DeHart's been the only offense today for the Gauchos. He has 11 now. Other scores as Eric MacArthur checks back in. with 4 personal fouls, and Earps will sit down. 41-31 here in Knoxville. North Carolina now by 7 over the Sooners. Ball State hanging on by 7 over Louisville. And both of those will be considered upsets if they hold up. UC Santa Barbara hoping for an upset. But Michigan State, as Tommy said, now is starting to gear it up a little bit.
Well, they allow you to go one-on-one. Oh, great steal. Great steal.
Stagenga. He's got 2 baskets, and they're almost carbon copies of one another. Gray, little one hook, can't get it. And the foul's going to be on Stevens.
They just overplay at the point right now. Stagenga takes off, and he is a mighty guy on the leap. I would say that Michigan right now is starting to feel like the Big Ten champ. And you look at Judd Heathcote saying to himself, well, that's at least a little bit better.
Look at the turnovers by the Gauchos and what Michigan State has done with them. 45-31. Eric MacArthur at the free throw line.
But the timing of their offense, which was so good, and the last ball game against Houston wasn't there tonight or this afternoon. They just were a little half-second getting to the ball late, or the pass was late, or everything broke down.
Approaching the 6-minute mark in the ball game, and the Spartans by 14.
And Droopy Draws has the ball.
Steve Smith
changes pants with Paplowski before every game.
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Likes to wear long pants, and Paplowski likes tight ones.
And a whistle and a foul en route to the basket as Johnson's going to pick it up, try to stay with Steve Smith, the guy we're talking about, and there are the Droopy Drawers. He says the guys back in Detroit when we play out in the street love to wear the trunks baggy. And boy, does he have them baggy.
That's super baggy. Droopy Drawers.
Paplowski, let's check his, because these two guys switch trunks before every game. You can see the difference.
Well, he didn't lift weights for nothing, you know. He's got to have tight pants.
Steve Smith with 14. He had 22 with 11 rebounds in the win over Murray State on Thursday. There he is, the junior out of Detroit, and the numbers for the day. Doing just what he did the other day, gearing up when the Spartans need him, and he's given them their biggest lead, 16. Carrick DeHart quite possibly playing his final game in a blue and gold uniform. Can't get the jumper. Gray goes strong. Johnson, the third try is good, and he's fouled. Foul's going to be on Paplowski.
Well, strong inside rebound here as Gray just puts it up like a cinder block, and not even a brick, a cinder block. That was a hard rebound for a 4-inch shot.
Hickman checks in. Paplowski goes out after picking up his third foul.
Well, Paplowski missed his whole freshman season with a knee injury. Came back, had to be additional surgery. They really had no inside game, this Michigan State team, for a great portion of the year. In fact, what Heathcote said about this ball club, I thought we'd have a good running team, a pretty good inside game, and very poor defense. And what happened is exactly the opposite. We couldn't shoot inside. Our fast break we got by accident, but we started winning with defense.
Paul Johnson's going to foul out. He was Jerry Pim's stopper defensively today, hoping he could hang with Steve Smith, and he is gone with 6 points and 5:20 remaining. Other thing I thought was interesting, Judd told us yesterday, Tommy, he says, I thought maybe we could be the number 5 team in the Big Ten, and they surprised him. And the players said that they wanted to prove to him they were better than that.
Jud's the kind of guy that inspires his players, and he really works them. You know, he's such an ethical guy. When he goes out, he has really trouble with the ethics of recruiting. He says, how can I recruit 5 kids and tell each kid that you're my #1 recruit? He says, I can't do that. And a lot of his players hold him in great esteem because they think he's a real honest guy, very generous, and a very loving guy, as tough as he is.
Redfield can't get the free throw, but he got his own rebound. And Michigan State, with a little over 5 minutes to play, in command by 13. See, we're approaching the 5-minute mark. And Michigan State's going to run a little motion here to try to use some clock. Carrick DeHart now with the job of trying to guard Steve Smith. 15 on the shot clock.
This is their 1-4 offense, so it allows one man to go one-on-one against a point guard or get down the slot. And there is what Eric MacArthur was doing against Houston. He was swatting them all over the place.
His second block of the day is 91st of the season. It's going to go about 4 rows up in the seats.
Into the Tennessee River.
And we got a foul as DeHart and Smith get tangled up in the lane. And Eric DeHart has 4 fouls now. DeHart, who has 11 points today, has really been the only offense that the Gauchos have been able to muster for Jerry Pym. Steve Smith goes back to the free throw line.
You know, for a real good outside shooting team, I think this freshman, Idris Jones, played pretty well at the beginning of the year from the outside, and then started to feel the pressure and the fatigue of playing a long season, and he started to slump. And their outside game deteriorated a little bit, and that's what they relied on a great deal.
Hasn't been there today. Steve Smith, 17 on the day. And again, the Spartans by 15. Under 4.5 minutes to play. Here's MacArthur. That turnaround jumper hasn't worked. He's been short almost every time he's attempted it. And again, Michigan State content to use some clock with a big lead, and Idris Jones fouls Montgomery. Coming up next on CBS Sports, some of you will see Dayton and Arkansas have at it. The rest of you, LSU and Georgia Tech. And does that have the makings of being a game filled with fireworks? Georgia Tech with Dennis Scott, Brian Oliver, Kenny Anderson. LSU counters with Chris Jackson, Stanley Roberts, and Shaquille O'Neal. Ought to be a beauty. MacArthur cleared off the miss by Montgomery. Carrick DeHart misses the 3. Here comes Michigan State. And Montgomery wisely will back it to the top to Steve Smith. Michigan State fans now sensing that they'll have to regroup after their trip to Knoxville and think about New Orleans.
Well, Michigan State didn't exactly play great in that first half. They didn't have anything going, but they were managed to entrack themselves in this second half and looked like at least the Big Ten champion started to run a little bit and play some real good defense and catch the ball.
Plosky not only caught it, he put it in off a great no-look pass by Steve Smith.
Going to see Smith taking it into the paint, draws the attention of almost everybody, and Peplowski right there. I wonder if he's going to show, watch Peplowski's reaction, a happy guy, but I wonder if he's going to show the Polish eagle tattoo today on St. Patrick's Day. I wonder.
He's got the green knee brace, misses the free throw. 51-34. That's the biggest lead of the ball game for Michigan State at the 3-minute mark remaining. DeHart knows that he's got to do it if anybody's going to in the remaining 3 minutes. He has 13. Michigan State a little over 2.5 minutes away from advancing as Stengenga turns it over. And with 2:39 to go in the ball game, Michigan State clinging to a 15-point lead.
The engineers who created the Grand Prix endowed it with a fully independent suspension, a powerful fuel-injected V6, and made anti-lock brakes available. Its designers blessed it with an aerodynamic profile. And now, to make Grand Prix an even better value, our accountants have added this.
I know jobs don't come with a lifetime guarantee anymore. So I've covered my own future with the right kind of life insurance.
You can too. Life insurance for living from Northwestern Mutual Life, the quiet company.
Mowing the lawn can be a real chore. Try the Thirst lawn mowers that let you choose any speed you need smoothly. The new hydrostatic transmission mowers at your Honda dealer.
When you've got your power stroke going, you've got confidence that nothing's going to beat you. Introducing Power Stick, the new antiperspirant that gives you 24-hour odor and wetness protection in just one wide stroke. It takes 2 strokes of the leading stick to match Power Stick's 1-stroke protection, 24-hour protection. In just 1 stroke. New Power Stick from Fabergé.
Pat Summit earlier today, putting her Lady Vols through the rigors of a practice. They meet Old Dominion here tomorrow in a second-round game in the NCAA women's basketball tournament, and the Final Four will be in this very building, Thompson Bowling Arena. They'll pack it in here for the Final Four on April 1st. And the Lady Vols had a game here a couple of years ago where they had 24,000 fans on hand, and they'll bring them in again tomorrow. They've got a game at 2 tomorrow afternoon. Michigan State by 15. Carrick DeHart fouled as he shot it. The Spartans, when they allow 60 points or less, are perfect on the season. And they're definitely going to have it under 60 for UC Santa Barbara. They have only 36 right now. As a matter of fact, the Southeast region record for lowest point total by a team is Ohio against Kansas in '85. They had only 38 points in a ball game. And that's what the Gauchos will have if Carrick DeHart hits both free throws.
Well, Jerry looks like he's headed back to the yacht and out to Catalina for a day or two.
8 points this half for DeHart, 15 for the game, so he's done his job. Kirk Manns has been very quiet offensively after a 21-point day on Thursday. Has only 2 points today.
Yeah, and he was the guy that really got him in that ball game against Murray State, as they were stagnant in that game for long periods.
That's right. They had to go overtime to beat Murray State. And now we got a foul on the inbounds pass against Lucius Davis.
Yeah, look a little bit ahead, and you say Michigan State against either Georgia Tech or LSU, what would they do? They'll have to play a little bit better, I think, than they've shown in these 2 ball games to come out of this region.
Well, we thought they'd have to play better today to beat UC Santa Barbara than they did against Murray State. I'm not sure if they've accomplished that or not, but they will have to be better against the winner of the LSU-Georgia Tech game, which is coming up next. Part of our quadruple header on CBS Sports, Dayton and Arkansas in the other battle. And Steve Smith, who's had another fine game for the Spartans, with 18 points on the day, just a couple under his average. North Carolina by 1, and Ball State, Louisville making a comeback. Steve Smith with 19, and Michigan State up 53-38.
You look at this wide margin and say, boy, Michigan State played a whale of a ball game. And that's not really the case. They only came alive for a stretch of about 5 minutes. Most of the thing that was going on here was the fact that UC Santa Barbara really had, in my opinion, the jitters, were just too up for the ball game and couldn't get themselves toned down enough to play a nice, smooth brand of basketball.
Couldn't hold on to the ball. When the turnovers that Michigan State forced, they turned them into buckets on the other end. Eric MacArthur, the #2 rebounder in the country, behind Anthony Bonner of St. Louis. Today hasn't been his best day, though, as Eric's got 7 points and 6 rebounds. It'll be a long haul back to Santa Barbara for these young men who were so excited about their win over Houston on Thursday.
But it means something to the younger players, too, and to Jerry in his program that they got to the tournament, and they were, in quote, the slash team, and he was very unhappy about that. He thought his team deserved to be here, and when they played Houston, they certainly showed that they did. So and sit here and you say, well, Michigan State against either LSU or any of those teams like North Carolina or Oklahoma, Michigan State is not an offensive powerful team. They've got 2 shooters. They play grinded out defense, although I don't think it was the defense that did it today.
I don't either.
Well, it ought to be interesting. They have to set a lot of picks and bang in order to keep winning. This is an ugly win, believe it or not, for Michigan State.
But it'll be sweet for them. 16, that is, in 2 minutes. They're up by 13. There's the foul. Idris Jones. North Carolina and Oklahoma down to 39 seconds remaining. How about that one? Don't you know Dean Smith and Billy Tubbs are having a blast in that one?
Oh, Billy got a little upset yesterday, didn't he?
Sure did.
At the press conference. Got to watch him. He can spew out some things.
What Jim Nance call it, a 1 beeper? Should have been about a 7 beeper. Billy didn't like something that was said about his players in the press conference following their game. Stegenga leaves it over to Poplawski, and he almost threw it away. He did. Idris Jones going to pull up for 3. Jones hasn't scored all day. Stegenga's going to go, and that just about wraps it for Michigan State. Stegenga's got 3 baskets. They're all stuffs. Carrick to Hart hits from way outside, and we have a timeout with Michigan State in front, 55-43.
Because there's a man in Chicago planning his retirement this year. Because there's a family in Boston who hopes to send their kids to college someday. Because there's a doctor in New York looking forward to the day she'll open her own clinic. Because every investor is different, with dreams all their own. Dean Witter measures success, one investor at a time. Dean Witter, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
For 1990, some Oldsmobiles are new from the ground up. Others are new from the top down. Some have striking new profiles, while others have bold new side views. Some new Oldsmobiles are at home in front of mansions, and others are at home in front of everything else.
This is the new generation.
Imagination, creation, application. At GTE, we know the power of people. At GTE, that power becomes an operator's voice when you need it most. Your company's telecommunications system, a nightlight for your child. One-to-one, person-to-person, GTE to you. It's the power of the human touch. And at GTE, the power is on.
Michigan State by 12. It's the same lead they basically have had over the last 6 minutes of the second half. Meanwhile, Oklahoma in the late stages by a point over the Tar Heels. And Ball State seeing the Cardinals pull closer with less than a minute to go, a 2-point game. court pressure. Gauchos need the ball, and they're going to have to foul with 1:20 remaining. Maybe they won't have to foul. Jones with a steal. And Mans picks up the foul. Coming up next, LSU and Georgia Tech in this southeast region here in Knoxville. The Tigers and the Yellow Jackets, and Dayton and Arkansas, also part of our quadruple header on CBS Sports. 3 teams already in the Sweet 16. Clemson, UNLV.
That
Jones hits.
LSU Georgia Tech game, that's going to be a real go-go game. Up-tempo all the way. And that's the style that Jerry Pym normally likes to play, but he was fearful against doing it against this Michigan State team.
First points of the game for Idris Jones, the freshman. Cuts it to a 10-point lead with 1:20 to go, and immediately a foul in the backcourt on Akins.
Well, they're going to work all their fouls. Enns is a great free throw shooter. He's on the bench.
Now just 10 seconds left, and the Sooners by 1 over the Tar Heels. This might work, Tommy, as Michigan State's missed the last 5 front ends of 1-and-1s. Although Stagenga's a pretty good free throw shooter, 77%er. There with less than a half minute to go is Ball State trying to pull off their second upset in a row after beating Oregon State. Can they do it to Louisville? Finally, Michigan State snaps their string of misses from the free throw line.
But when you get to this stage of the ball game, what you really want to try and do is make the other team spend as much time on their offense so that they can't just foul you. Get out there and make them move the ball and make them take tough shots.
There's another 3 by DeHart. Well, that's a single-digit Michigan State lead. Who knows? 57-48. This is more offense for the Gauchos in the last couple of minutes than they've had the whole game, it seems like.
Well, they were a great three-point shooting team most of the year, and it just evaporated in the early part of the game. And right now, this is like football, a 2-minute drill. No, you don't back off these people, get up on them on the perimeter, and make them spend as much time using the clock on their own offense. Because the judge is saying right now, they're going to foul us as soon as we get it.
In the Midwest Regional in Austin, Texas, as we take a look at that bracket, the Oklahoma-North Carolina winner, and it's a 1-point game in the final stages, will meet either Dayton or the Razorbacks. That'll be at Reunion Arena in Dallas. Oklahoma and North Carolina have had a tough one the whole way, and there you see it is dead even with 8 to play.
Up-tempo basketball against ACC standard operating jump switch defenses of Dean Smith, and he just missed the point guard this year, Dean Smith, I think, but he usually gets his teams tuned up for the tournament.
King Rice, who's been his point guard all year, has a good turnover assist ratio, not a big scorer. The Ball State UNLV game, a 2-point game when last we checked in. It's still a 2-point game. 7 seconds left. And in that regional in the West, Ball State already having pulled 1 upset by beating Oregon State. And now can they do it to Louisville? That winner goes on to meet UNLV, already in the Sweet 16. A win over Ohio State for Gary Tarkanian's running Rebels earlier. And immediately the Gauchos foul, and they foul Poplawski, who's a 63% free throw shooter. They're going to make the Spartans earn it now. There's still 1:10 to go, and it's a 9-point game.
I wonder why Mans isn't in there right now as one of their real good free throw shooters.
Eric MacArthur's going to check back in. He's been in foul trouble almost since the beginning of the game. Got 2 early ones and sat out the majority of the first half. He has 4 right now. Poplawski, big free throw for him after missing 2 in a row.
Judd Heathcote has got all his big guys in there, really, to protect against the 3-point shooting of UC Santa Barbara.
Plowski rattled that one on every portion of the rim and got it to drop for an 11-point Michigan State lead. Stevens will check back in for some defensive help. Poplawski goes out with an 8-point day to go with 11 rebounds. Carrick DeHart doesn't get the three. Stevens clears it out of there, and he's fouled immediately by Gray. And we are down to 59 seconds to play here in Knoxville.
Fouls on Gray, his fourth.
Michigan State has gone since the 4:26 mark. It's about 3.5 minutes without a field goal. But their last 10 points have come from the free throw line, and that's where the Gauchos are going to continue to send them. Stevens shoots about 59% from the line, but he's 3 for 3 today. Make it 4 for 4. North Carolina picks off the #1 team in the country, Tommy Heinsohn. And Ball State over Louisville. How about Ball State? They're trying to cram that foot in the slipper for all it's worth, aren't they? Davis, three-pointer's good. Gauchos could have used some of that earlier. They're out of timeouts, trailing by 9. Redfield alone. And he's fouled. Davis got to him just in time. So the ACC 7-0 now in the NCAA tournament with North Carolina's upset of Oklahoma. And the Big Ten has struggled. Couple of Big Ten teams out already. 3 of them of the 5 that won had to go to overtime, and Michigan State now really showing they can struggle here in the late stages of this one. DeHart way outside. Foul's going to go on Davis underneath. I think that's going to do it on Davis, unless they call it on Idris Jones.
Foul's on Davis.
Foul is on Davis, and that is it for him. 5 teams in the Sweet 16 now as North Carolina advances. So does Ball State with their upset over Louisville. Earlier, Jerry Tarkanian's running Rebels by 11 over Ohio State. It was Connecticut big all over the Bears of California. And Clemson over LaSalle. Clemson trailed at halftime by 16, but the Tigers came back, and Michigan State's about to join that elite group heading to the Sweet 16. They are 34 seconds away and 9 points up. The Gauchos from the Big West, 21-8 coming into this one. And 3 straight 20-plus victory seasons. But it's not going to be enough for Steve Smith, against Steve Smith and the Spartans. Judd Heathcote, who had a national championship 11 years ago. And this team has won more games. But he said no comparison talent-wise.
Oh, he said they really had 2 superstars on those teams, Magic Johnson and that forward, Kelser, Greg Kelser. Wow.
Idris Jones finally gets a 3.
They should have been watching these earlier in the ball game.
Sure should. Stevens is alone. Missed the jam. And we might have a technical to boot as he hung on the rim too long. Oh, this one still isn't over with 17 seconds to go. Stevens got it, and we thought that was about going to end things for the Gauchos.
But little jam that didn't jam.
And here's Carrick DeHart with the technical free throw. DeHart's got 22.
I can remember way back in 1952, Clyde Lovellette lost the championship for the University of Kansas when they went into Jam 1 with 2 seconds, 3 seconds left to go, and they lost.
Wow. This is now a 6-point game, if you can believe it. DeHart The three almost went. Gray will follow. Out of timeouts, the Gauchos. And Michigan State's going to hang on to win. No basket, but the Spartans still win. And it got a little scary for Judd Heathcote at the very end. Two old friends shake hands, and Michigan State advances to the Sweet 16, 62-58.
Well, I'd say this, that Judd Heathcote right now is going to take a good, hard, fast look at the next game coming up, because he's going to need a little bit more than intensity, I think, to beat either one of the two teams, either LSU or Georgia Tech. Although they did execute very, very nicely in the latter part or the middle part of the second half to break the game open, they were lethargic at times or just didn't get it going.
Steve Smith has the big game for the Spartans, as he's done so often this year, and they hang on to win. UCSB just couldn't find the basket from the field, and that, along with Michigan State's points off turnovers, is what helps Michigan State go on to win it. But they have to hang on and do it by 4 points. 62-58 the final. And the Spartans advance to the Sweet 16. So the #1 seed from the Southeast Regional and the Big Ten champions get a little bit of a scare in the last 5 minutes or so from the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara. And our Chevrolet players of the game: Steve Smith from Michigan State, Carrick DeHart, who had 24 points, playing his final game for the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara. The Spartans go to 28-5 on the season, and they will advance to New Orleans in the Southeast Regional. For Tommy Heinsohn, I'm Brad Nessler saying so long from Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville. Let's send it back to Jim Nance in our New York studios.
Now, what does this mean for the Midwest?
Well, you look at Arkansas on the other side of that bracket, waiting to play Dayton. That game coming up in a couple of minutes. And on the bottom side, the Hoyas of Georgetown are still there.
All right, the difference in the UCSB game was only 4, 62-58. Michigan State won it. Some technical free throws down the stretch and a late bucket by the Gauchos made the difference, only 4, but the Spartans the 1 seed in the Sweet 16. Right now, let's get the report from Salt Lake City, where again, the Cardinals over the Cardinals. Ball State over Louisville, two schools just 150 miles apart, playing in Salt Lake City. Calling the action out there today, Tim Brandt and Len Elmore. And let's go out and hear from them right now. Timmy?
Another upset here in the West. Ball State, the #12 seed, upsets Louisville 62-60. Here's the last desperation shot by Everett Sullivan, and it was over. Ball State wins it, and we're joined now by two of the stars, and of course the coach. There he is, Dick Hunsaker, and what a job he did his first year at Ball State. Comes back here where he played at Weber State, coached at Weber State. Your reaction?
You know, just what a dream, what a thrill to come back. We had the MAC tournament in Cobo Holland.